up, headbangers? Welcome to another installment of Metal Spotlight. Thrash metal has always been about freedom, raw, fast, and unapologetic. It's the devil's sound of metal, the sound that gives people a voice. While today's scene often celebrates technical precision and musical complexity, thrash metal has always been broad enough to thrive on both mastery and raw energy. From Denmark, Hellmaze understands that balance perfectly. They strip it back to what matters. Fast riffs, melodic hooks, and reckless aggression, with fun as well along the way. From the first track on Dead Flesh Rising, you're pulled in immediately and you're kept there. No overthinking, no excuses, just powerful emerging thrash metal done right. At its core, this album is still thrash, fast, heavy, and melodic, blending harshness with memorable in a way that feels both classic and fresh. Dead Flesh Rising is easily one of the strongest thrash albums I've heard in years, and a real hidden gem. Today I've got Raphael, he's the guitarist and vocalist for Hellmaze. How are you, mate?
I'm doing good, thanks. Thanks for having me today. Looking forward to talking to you, man.
Man, me too, bro. Me too, bro. The album just got out just about 2 weeks ago, like so still fresh, man. How's the feedback been from
The
from your fans and all that?
feedback has been surprisingly good. We're really happy with it because reviews have been quite good. We're landing at about what, 75% in the reviews, which for a debut for a small band like us is awesome. Feedback at the live gigs has been fun as always. So yeah, we're really stoked. We're really happy that we're getting out globally. I mean, bless the internet. If you thought about, 30 years ago being a small band and all of a sudden you're looking at like we've been played in around 69 countries when I checked this weekend already with a new album. That is absolutely awesome to be able to get that far outreach and actually see that people that we don't know that haven't seen our shows but just picked up the album like it. That is absolutely awesome.
That's awesome to hear, man. It's awesome that 69 countries got to hear your music, and it's so small these days. It's just amazing. Like before I started doing Headbangers Australia, I've just been stuck in Sydney in Australia because I'm based in Sydney. So, you kind of like see these bands that you're with and locally. And then when I started doing this, I get to find all these bands around the world. And it's just amazing. There's so much hidden gem bands out there. And basically, I found you guys, and I was just in love with hearing your record. And it's funny that you brought up about playing live shows because I'll probably be rare for me to see you guys play live. But just with your music and just having you just right now, the energy and the fun. What's your shows like? Because you just done a gig in November in Denmark. So what's your
Yeah.
shows like?
Well, the shows are fast and fun. So, we like to engage the audience as much as possible. Just love bringing the energy and then getting that feedback from the crowd. We tend to have fun with it. There's no predefined choreography and bullshit like that. It's just we have fun with it. We do various shenanigans on stage as we feel like it, and you know, we're there to be present, to be there to connect with the folks that are out there, and to entertain.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. It sounds like a fucking laid back fun and let the music breathe and breathe it out, So I love when I'm watching thrash metal bands and they got that kind of energy, just having fun. And the music's the music and it's just an arrogance and all that. That's what keeps us alive. That's what keeps us kids young at heart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I'll give the example I saw right before COVID. We had Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel on tour, and they came by Denmark. And both Death Angel and Exodus were so there because they were just having fun with it. And that was absolutely awesome. And then Testament comes on, and you have the risers, the choreography, and everything, and it just feels so fake, for lack of a better word. And it was just like that was a letdown for me because both Death Angels and Exodus, they brought the Bay Area vibe. They brought that raw energy that we loved as kids.
Yeah.
And that's also, what we're trying to bring. It's, having fun, doing fast, furious music, but, with a wink and a smile.
Yeah, you're actually right because like I've got to meet Kelly from Atheist last year when he came into it, and he's down to earth kind of guy because we had him in the studio filming. We had an interview with Atheist when we were on tour. Then after the filming, we're having a barbecue, having jokes, even the bands. They're down to earth, you know. I've been, like yourself, we've been fortunate enough to see how what they are behind the scenes. So the music's like fucking serious and all that, but
Yeah.
we're all it's our heart, man. So it's amazing that kind of thing because I still feel young, like every fucking day. I never go with someone goes, oh, I'm old. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm still fucking training. I don't give a fuck what you think. It's just a number, you know.
Yeah,
It's what it is, bro.
indeed it is.
Like with your when you played your songs back in November, did you play any of your new materials for the
So
first time?
no, so when we played back in November, we played everything that is on the album already. So, these songs have been cooking for a while. We've also, tried them live before we recorded them, except for Hell and Amaze. Hell and Amaze, we actually recorded before we tried it out live. But all the other songs we had tried live because we do this thing where, we try the songs live, and then if we see that, okay, here maybe, we either lost that spark in the eye of the audience, or they didn't quite catch a groove, we go back and say, okay, well, okay, we need to tweak this and that to really make sure that the energy and the flow is there. Hell and Amaze came to right before we got into the studio, so that was interesting because we played it live not long after we'd been in the studio, and it was like, okay, yeah, this actually works. So that one we were lucky with because it worked both album and live from the get-go.
Wow, sick, man, because that music itself, we'll get to that track later, but just that music itself, it is full of energy. And, I cannot wait to dive it in. But before we go into that, almost is rooted in classic thrash, a bit of the modern twist with it. So how did the band arrive at that balance between the aggression and the menology? Because your voice is very melodic when you're singing.
Yeah. Um, for us, it's been kind of an evolution. I mean, before we got into Hellmaze, and the current line that we have, I used to do mostly clean singing, and then in Hellmaze, we just said, okay, we're gonna keep it simple, more aggressive, because in previous iterations of we've had some previous bands with some other folks, we try to be more techy, more proggy, etc., and we would always, stumble on overcomplicating things. And then with Hellmaze, we said, look, there's one basic rule we adhere to, which is never say no. So whenever somebody has an idea for what a riff or something, we just say, okay, we're gonna try it. We're gonna play with it. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but we never say no for the get-go. And that's really helped us. And then I think over time we just found, that the more aggressive vibe works for us. That's where we're comfortable. And, doing this mix of having the aggression, having the melody, kind of works.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty stoked with the song itself, the melodies, because your voice is it grabs your attention. So like when I would go into the track, so we'll go, when I go into the track, the first thing that drew me in flesh. It came
Yeah.
in. It's from the first note. It's Thrash. You kind of got that identity from the get go, and then your voice comes in, and what I said pre-interview, it takes me a while to dissect music in more of an emotional kind of way, like a fanboy, because
Yeah.
I'm more objective these days. Just with the bands. But I literally just got out of the chair and just fucking just headbang for a bit, man, because I was just like, fuck. I haven't done that for a while. It's like because I basically am a thrash fan. Like I listen to a lot of drummers of metal, but thrash is my real roots. When I went from new metal, thrash was my next level. So Megadeth's one of my favorite bands. Exodus, Crater,
Yeah.
so Anthrax. All these thrash bands and Testament, Dark Angel. Like they all have a resonate to me. And then I got it. So it's like that first track just got me into that element. So I was really immersive.
Cool. I'm really glad to hear that.
And then I'm like, fuck, that's a good intro. And then, and then I'm like, then Slave comes in and it's a hook. But for me, I found it was a double hook. You just guys go bang, 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 because it's very energy song, very
Yeah.
high energy, and when you're doing your vocals, it's very authoritative and demanding. So it's so it's very pulling as well. And then when you said that Hell and Amaze was one of the new songs you brought into the studio, I found it was also kind of like tongue in cheek in a way, but the music itself was smartly written. Like the lyrics is like, you put me through hell and amaze, but when you guys say hell and amaze, it's the Thrash chorus that we all grew and loved.
Yeah.
And that's just like, oh yeah, this is, it's like fuck, it's like this is, but it's Hellmaze. It's you guys make it your own. And then you go on to say, only twisted minds like yours could create. It goes hell and amaze. But then what I loved about that structure of the song is do you're my fucking hell maze, and it does well with the drums and everything sinking in, and that's one of the standout tracks, man. And that's one thing. It's just, and it's only 3 tracks in, and they're like, you're getting that in the first 3 tracks, and you're like, all right, cool, and then basically, it progresses the same momentum, the same energy. It doesn't stop. It continues going. And then when you go to your latest single that you released before the album, KFC, oh, okay, this is interesting. And it's like Killer Fucking Thrash, and it's a Thrash song, and it's tongue in cheek, but it's the energy and the fun in it, and then it carries through the rest of the album. By the time you get to the last track, you just want to play it again. This is because it's only 32 minutes. It's like, as I say, not all killers, no fillers. Like it's from start to finish. And when I get excited, I really mumble with my words. So you guys are basically this. Like I'm just like, this is one of the first hidden gems of 2026, bro.
Nice. Yeah. We try to pack the album so we kept the energy high, that we had a bit of variation in the songs throughout so it doesn't get, stale through it. But, we just like to keep them coming. I think if you look at, tempo structure through the album, most of it is like 210 BPM is where we really were comfortable and we groove. So if you actually look at it, I think the majority of the album is right there in that sweet spot. And then we varied in a couple of places, but otherwise it's just keep them coming and then have fun with it. I think if you look at the themes of the songs, some are more serious, and then you have sort of like KFT, Mosh Pit Bukaki for sure, that, have the fun with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because also the production's good as well. Because what I found about the production, the guitars is thick, it carries throughout. The bass is there because I'm a bassist so I can hear the bass and it dangles. It's like on eights, so it gives it organic. It's breathing. It's not 16ths where so it has that momentum going. It plays it where it needs to play. I like the snare. Like it's not, for my personal preference, like it's not overly powering. Like you're not listening and you're it's like it's there, but it balance. And you also are a guitarist as well. I can see the guitarist in the background all blurred out. So, for my guitarist that's got to dumb it down to a bass player like myself.
Well, look, to be fair, let me just unblur this for a second. What you'll see is there's a mix of guitars and basses there. I do both.
Oh, okay, cool. I can see you got a Game Boy there. That's something that.
Well, it's a Lego Game Boy. It's not a real one.
Oh, okay, cool. I've got a Lego Nintendo somewhere around the house.
Nice.
Yeah, Lego these days, they make it look like real.
Yeah, and being Danish, you gotta support the local business industry, I guess. But no, sidetracking. But yeah, Legos are a lot of fun.
Yeah, as I said with the guitars, man, like, were you like personally as a guitarist when you put that music together? Are you really like like it has to be really like it has to sound like us. It's got to be thick. Are you really experimental with your tones when you're
Um, I
with
don't think that we're that experimental with tones. I mean, we have one sound that we found that works really well for us live,
yeah,
where everything cuts nice through the mix. And then in the studio, we iterated a couple of times with Marco and Gioni that we worked with up here on the sound. I think the original sound that he came up with in the mix was darker for us. And we said, like, no, we want to open it up more. And then we found this, like, it's dirty enough, but it's not too dirty kind of sound. And it's not too modern because we wanted to have that, the a bit aggressive, unpolished vibe to it. And I think, we've actually landed that.
yeah. What was the probably inspiration or what inspired to make it thrash with kept it with its roots, but balanced with that modern approach? Because it does have modern metal elements. So someone that loves their modern metal, they can
Yeah.
actually cross into that drama of thrash, where thrash is very different to modern. So how and you guys got a lot of experience, yourself as well. So how does it shape the way you guys write and record and all these and how you mix it up, I guess.
Well, um, I think where we find our balance is, I think Mikey and I are the ones that bring the majority of the riffs into the band. He likes to keep it very, very simple. I like to overcomplicate things a lot. And then, we find this middle ground because he'll bring in basic riff, and then, my nickname is Stuffer, and then he says, okay, can you stufferize this? Which means basically take the basic riff
Yeah,
and then, edge it up, complicate it up, but just, enough, not too much. And then occasionally I'll come in with ideas, and he's like, okay, this is all cool, but dumb it down. Keep it simple. We're supposed to have fun with this. And we've kind of now found this, middle ground, this balance where it just works for us. Mike and I have been playing together since we were kids, in various iterations, various bands. But in those bands, because we were still young and stupid and had our egos, we'd always eventually clash on, well, this is my idea and my idea is better than your idea and whatever. And it's like, now we're finally at the age where, like, who gives a crap? Like, we're just here to have fun. We find our, compromise, what works well for us as a band. And also keeping it at that, slightly modern, but still keeping it simple gives us so much free energy during the live shows to just have fun with it. Because you don't need to overthink, what you're playing. It just flows in the hands and then you run with it.
yeah. It's you hit the nail on the head. It's like I was in the thrash metal band as well. I've been with I think I was around like two or three, and one band it's like the music breathes, and then
Yeah.
sometimes it can complicate it, and it's like well sometimes you got to step back and but I think that these guys really hit the balance well and we've been talking about the theme is fresh is fun and you are a fun person the band is fun. You've got any stories from gigs that like you can like go fuck man I'll never forget this shit because I never had so much fucking fun in my life because it's always had fun something always going to happen.
Yeah. I think, like, gig wise, some years ago, we still had our previous bass player Anton with us, and we're playing the last song in the set. We typically do Rise or Rising Up as the last song because we started with a Wall of Death. And we kick off the song, and the pit starts, and our bass player just throws his bass down on the stage in the middle of the song and just jumps into the pit, starts moshing with these guys, and comes back, I think, like almost a minute later and plays. We just keep going. It's like, okay, look, he's having fun, they're having fun, just go with it. We played in Germany a couple of years ago, called like Deep in a Basement, a underground place, um, where the pit, when I got to that point where I use a big mic, it smashed my face twice.
Oh,
Yeah, because they just, they pounded it, elbows up on the stage. So that was good fun. I think other stories which, for us, we really remember as a band is actually when we were on tour in Germany, driving to, I think we were going to Tommy House or one of the other places at the time. We pull over, and then our drummer learns that his dad died. And we're like, oh, that is a real kick in the gut. And we were deciding, what to do. And we ended up, well, okay, we keep on going. So we went there and played. But one of the tracks that is actually on the album, Killing Time, was inspired originally by me looking at our fathers in the band, because you reach a certain age where your interest starts to dwindle, and the lyrics are, I'm killing time before time kills me, and that just got too emotional for me at that day. It was like, look, we're pulling that song off the set because I will not be able to do that.
Yeah.
And for us, I think, it really cemented the camaraderie in the band and the support. So that was something to definitely remember. Out of the more, fun, weird stuff we've tried, how occasionally girls will flash you when you're playing on stage? We had something completely different.
Oh,
Dude all of a sudden pulls down his pants and
yeah.
starts doing the helicopter. I was like, okay, you know what? You've seen some stuff, but that one was new for sure. So we've done that, and also other fun stories. We tend to fun around with the dad joke of, Hellmaze is, there's corn jokes in there. It's spelled differently, but it's maze.
Yeah.
One of the festivals we did, we actually had a leaf blower converted into a popcorn blower machine. So it was a leaf blower, huge box full of popcorn. And then my daughter, she was, I think, 14 at the time,
Yeah.
put on a corn mask, put on this big thing. And at the end of one of her songs, just came out on stage and covered the full crowd in front with minced popcorn. It was fun. The venue absolutely hated us for it afterwards. And the people in front actually afterwards said to us, this is all fun, but there's salt everywhere. Oh, yeah, random fun.
Oh mate, we've got stories. I've got stories here in Australia. Like when I was playing on stage, like we like to have it energized, and I
Yeah.
know if I went to the mosh pit and put my bass down, my guitarist will fucking kill me because guitarist the bass, it's like the bass is fucked up, so that's the first point of accountability. So anyway, so you're pretty. I wish I was in your band because I could just actually. Oh, I don't want to play this riff. I just want to go have fun. But yeah. So anyway, so we were playing and we got into it, and we were playing in this is a small dive bar, and we were playing an Exodus cover. It was I think what's the name of the song? Let's see. Now I'm put it on the spot. It was off the ooh. Anyway, we're playing an Exodus song, one of the
Yeah.
Exodus covers, man. It was it's based on Vladimir. So yeah, I know that was based on that and had one of Kurt Hammock's original riffs.
Yeah.
So I'm getting that old that I'm starting to forget which albums they were, bit lazy these days because we use Google. Oh, which album's that?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were playing, and there was kids at the gig, and they got into it because they know Exodus. Fucking punching, and I'm thinking, okay, this is pretty cool because you don't see the punch, you just see pushing from the stage perspective, and you just see them. Oh yeah, cool. They dubbed this cover, and then after we're playing, we saw the guy. He had a white death metal shirt, bleeding out. And I'm like, are you all right? Oh, yeah, you guys were fucking sick. You guys were mad. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, yeah, we're selling some patch if you want to support the band. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. And then the guy that ran the band, he's like, mate, you're bleeding, have it for free.
Yeah.
And I've seen
that is a dedicated fan. You gotta help him out.
and I was like, oh, it's just like fuck, man. And I remember I was watching a band as well, and there was this guy just having fun. There was this, there's sometimes you have full, some gigs there's a full house. Sometimes it's a bit more low.
Yeah.
Underground's a bit hard to measure. And one of those nights when I was following a band, and they were playing, and this guy just fucking just it was carpet. He just fucking just dived on the floor, and it's going. And then he got up, and then it was like, "Are you okay?" And bang! He goes in, he goes down on the floor again.
Okay, that's a bit different.
Yeah, you see, yeah. Well, I didn't see about the popcorn. Like, if anyone that's watching, everyone's watching this video is probably going to go, you know what? We're going to try that with the popcorn and the salt. But,
Yeah, nice.
but mate, yeah, just before, I'll probably just, what's the year looking? What's the year looking ahead for Hellmaze? What's 26 looking out for you guys?
So, one is we're trying to book a tour this fall to actually get out and play, but otherwise, it is working on new material. Because over the past year, we've spent a lot of time just preparing to release the album. We had a couple of gigs and getting merch ready, etc. Which means that the actual process of writing new music, we have a bunch of like half-baked ideas. We have various song structures, etc. that we really want to finish because we're eager to actually do new stuff, play new stuff. We have a couple of cool concepts already brewing and really want to get to do that. We're discussing maybe doing a follow-up EP either late this year, beginning of next year, to keep it fresh. May do one new video also still for the album, doing another single. Otherwise, having fun with it. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. We're about to wrap it up, man. Is there anything you want to say to all your supporters, everyone that's been following the band, and people who are going to
I think what we want to say is thanks for the support that has come in. We're more than pleased with how the album is doing. Really like that, people dig it. And hey, if you like it, listen to it. If you're somebody that books bands abroad, give us a shout. We'll gladly travel for a beer.
any promoters in Australia?
It's gonna be a long drive to Australia, but you never know. So we love going out and seeing folks and having fun with it. I know next year we're already booked for Czech Republic, so we're probably gonna do like Germany, Poland as well that summer, and love doing summer festivals because it's so much fun. So.
Yeah, man, I would love to go to Europe one day for the summer festivals because there's so many out there, man. So much fun.
Yeah.
And now I cannot wait for to follow you guys with your journey till now until what the future holds because you guys are a band worth investing. If anyone that hasn't seen Hellmaze before, give them a follow, man. They are worth investing in the support. They're just everyday guys just want to have fun. Because
Exactly, yes.
That's all they want, fun. So if you're looking for metal that's fresh, that's fun, that's nothing serious, give them a follow because that kind of helps them out when they're looking for promoters. The profile helps the band as well. Their music is worth listening to. It's worth getting it on Bandcamp through the Bandcamp camp through the band as well because that helps. We might have to contact your label probably in the future to see if we can get some physical copies down here. So anyone that wants to buy it in Australia, because shipping's a pain in the ass these days.
Oh yeah, it is definitely.
We might have to set up a distro so we could go, hey, one Hellmaze, here's a copy.
Yeah, you know what? We will gladly set that up if that works. Yes.
There you go. So anyway, because Australians love their thrash metal, man. So we'll see if we can find a way to get them in. But seriously, man, give them a follow on the socials, and we also added some of their tracks onto our Spotify playlist. We've got Hellmaze, we've got Flesh, and we've got Kill Frackin' Thrash. See, Mumbo.
Awesome. Well, look, dude, thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate it. Headbangers Australia, give them a hell. So thank you, man.
Oh, mate, it's awesome to have you on, and we'll see you guys at the next video.
See ya, man.